99 missed calls. That's what I woke up to. 99 calls from the same two people who, just hours earlier, had told me to disappear from their lives forever. The same two people whose rent I paid, whose cars I funded, whose credit cards never hit a limit because my hands made sure of it. They didn't know that when I decided to stop, everything would stop. But before I get to that, let me take you back to where this all began. My name is Daniel Nolan. I'm 34 years old, and for the last decade, I have been the invisible pillar holding a family that never once looked up to acknowledge I existed. Growing up, I was the son nobody saw, not in any dramatic way, no cruelty, no locked doors, just something quieter, and in many ways more devastating. My mother's eyes would scan every room for my younger sister Jessica first. Every conversation circled back to her needs, her dreams, her problems. I became the fixer, the quiet one, the one who handled things while no one handled me. When my father died 10 years ago, I was 24, fresh out of business school, staring at a company drowning in debt. Nolan Properties was hemorrhaging money. My mother didn't know where to begin. Jessica was 19 and more interested in boutiques than balance sheets. So I stepped up. I restructured the loans, renegotiated contracts, worked 60-hour weeks until the company wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. Today, I'm the CFO. Sounds impressive. In reality, it means I wire $8,000 into my mother's account every month, another $3,500 to Jessica. I cover the house, the cars, the vacations. In 10 years, I had given this family nearly $2 million. In return, I couldn't remember the last time either of them asked how I was doing. The only calls I received were when the money ran late. Then came the discovery that broke something inside me. 3 weeks before my birthday, Jessica accidentally forwarded a message into a group chat. One I didn't even know existed. A private thread. Mom and Jessica, no Daniel. The message read, "Let's discuss the shares at Saturday's meeting. Wear something nice." I scrolled through screenshots she'd unknowingly included. Dozens of messages I was never meant to see. "Mom, we should look into selling company stock." Jessica, "Daniel won't like that." Mom, "He doesn't need to know yet. He just handles the paperwork." Jessica, "He acts like he runs everything. It's annoying." Mom, "Don't worry about him. He's always been difficult. No social skills. That's why he buries himself in spreadsheets." Jessica, "True LOL. He wouldn't understand real business strategy anyway." I set my phone down. My hands were shaking. 10 years of my life. And to them, I was just the difficult son who handled paperwork. But what truly shattered me was the date of their secret meeting, March 15th, my birthday. They were planning to discuss selling my father's company, the one he trusted me to protect, on my birthday, without inviting me, without even remembering what that day meant. That night I sat at my kitchen table with a decade of bank statements, nearly $2 million flowing out of my life into theirs, while the only communication I ever got was transactional, money in, silence out. I thought about my father. Weeks before the cancer took him, he held my hand and said, "You're the only one I trust with this, son. The company, the family. You'll take care of it all. I know you will." I had kept that promise. But somewhere along the way, taking care of them had become funding their lives while they erased me from their story. I scrolled my contacts and stopped at one name I hadn't dialed in years, Harold Weston, my father's attorney, his oldest friend. He messaged every year on the anniversary of Dad's passing. I always replied briefly and moved on. Now for the first time I called back. He answered on the second ring, like he'd been waiting. "Daniel." His voice was warm but careful. "Are you calling about the letter?" I froze. "What letter?" Silence stretched across the line. "Your father left something for you," Harold said slowly. "Instructions were to give it to you when you were ready. I've been waiting for this call for 10 years. My heart was pounding. "Ready for what?" He never said exactly, just that you'd know. A pause. "I think you might be ready now, Daniel. Am I wrong?" I thought about the screenshots, the secret chat, the birthday meeting planned without me. "No," I whispered. "You're not wrong." March 15th arrived like any ordinary Tuesday. 99 missed calls, that's what I woke up to. But we'll get there. Right now I was still standing outside, watching through a gap in the curtains, witnessing what my family truly thought of me. I scrolled through Jessica's Instagram stories with a steadiness that surprised even me. The first showed the entrance to the house I paid $12,000 a month to rent, framed in pink balloons. The second was my mother adjusting a flower arrangement, wearing the pearls she reserved for impressing business partners. The third made my stomach drop. It was a guest list, handwritten in my mother's elegant script. I recognized every name immediately. Marcus Webb, our biggest client. The Hartley sisters, who owned half the commercial real estate in the county. David Chen from the investment firm we'd been courting for months. These weren't family friends. These were my professional contacts, people I had spent years building relationships with. and they were at a party in my family's home, a party I wasn't invited to. The fourth story showed the cake. 3 tiers, edible flowers, elegant frosting loops spelling out one name, Jessica. Jessica's birthday is April 20th. Today was March 15th, my birthday. My mother was throwing a birthday party for the wrong child on the right child's actual birthday, funded entirely by the right child's money, while telling that child to never contact them again. Something shifted in me then. Quiet, final. I called Harold at exactly 5 p.m. Bring me the letter. I'll be there in an hour. While I waited, I opened the company's ownership documents. Not the daily operations I managed, but the foundational structure, things I had signed years ago without fully absorbing. My father had left me 60% of Nolan Properties. My mother received 20. Jessica, 20. I already knew the numbers. What I had never truly processed was what they meant. As majority shareholder and sole signatory, I held authority over everything, every contract, every major expense, every distribution from the family trust. The trust that had been quietly bleeding for a decade while I signed checks on autopilot, telling myself it was family money, that I was simply the caretaker. Legally, nothing moved without my signature. Nothing. Harold arrived at 6. He looked older, but his eyes were still sharp. Before you read this, he said, handing me a sealed envelope, there's something you should know. Your father restructured everything 6 months before he died. He knew Patricia would favor Jessica. He saw it clearly, even then. Why didn't you tell me sooner? He made me promise to wait until you came to me. Harold's voice was quiet. He said you needed to see it for yourself. Otherwise, you'd never believe it. I looked at the envelope, Dad's handwriting on the front. For Daniel, when he's ready. I broke the seal. The paper was yellowed at the edges. His neat, familiar print filled both sides. The same handwriting from grocery lists and business contracts and birthday cards I still kept in a box somewhere. My dear son, it began. If you're reading this, it means what I feared has finally happened. Your mother and sister have pushed you far enough that you've started asking questions. I'm sorry it took this long. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you better. I've watched the way Patricia looks at you since you were small, the way she compares you to Jessica, always finding you lacking. It breaks my heart because I know the truth. You are the strongest person in this family, the most capable, the most loyal. But strength isn't the same as being valued, and loyalty means nothing to people who only see what you can give them. I'm leaving you the company because you're the only one who will protect it. But more importantly, I'm leaving you the power to protect yourself. The trust, the accounts, the signing authority, it's all in your hands for a reason. You don't owe anyone your sacrifice, not even family. If they've hurt you enough that you're reading this, they've already shown you who they are. Believe them. Walking away isn't betrayal. It's survival. I love you more than I could ever say. Wherever I am, I'm proud of the man you've become. Your father. I don't know when the tears started. They just came, quiet and steady. He had known. All those years ago, he had seen exactly what would happen and built me an escape route, brick by brick, waiting for the day I'd need it. That day was today. I folded the letter carefully and looked at Harold. What are my options? He walked me through everything. As majority shareholder and sole signatory, I could freeze distributions immediately, restructure their access entirely, cut them off if I chose. But that's not what you're planning, Harold said. It wasn't a question. No. I walked to my closet and pulled out my best suit, charcoal gray, impeccably tailored, the one I wore to board meetings. I'm going to that party. Harold's eyebrows rose. Are you sure that's wise? They're telling everyone I don't exist, that I'm difficult, that I have no people skills. I straightened my collar. I want to see what else they're saying, and I want to see who's listening. Harold paused. Daniel, I should tell you, I was invited to that party. Marcus Webb asked me to review some partnership documents. I turned to look at him slowly. They don't know you're my attorney, I realized. They think you're just the company lawyer. My mother never bothered to learn the legal structure. A small smile crossed his face. She doesn't know I report to you. Something clicked into place. Harold would be there. Marcus Webb, our biggest client, would be there. And in that room full of people my mother was busy poisoning against me, 2 men knew exactly who I was and what I had built. I didn't need to make a scene. I just needed to walk through that door and let the truth do what truth always does, reveal itself. I'll see you there, I told Harold. I arrived at the house at 7:30. The valet took my car without a glance. I walked up the familiar stone path, past the rose bushes my mother had planted last spring with money from my last bonus. Music and laughter spilled through the open front door. Expensive perfume, catered hors d'oeuvres, a party paid for entirely with my labor. I didn't go in, not yet. I circled to the side garden where the French doors stood parted just enough to see inside. My mother was holding court in the center of the room, hands moving expressively, guests leaning in. Marcus Webb stood among them, the man I met with every quarter, the man whose account I had personally rescued 2 years ago. I stepped closer, staying in the shadows. My older son, my mother was saying, waving her hand dismissively. Daniel has some issues. Emotional problems, really. Very difficult to be around. We had to cut ties for our own. I pushed open the French doors and walked in. I stood in the shadows of that garden and listened to my mother lie to my biggest client. Daniel has emotional problems. Very difficult to be around. We had to cut ties for our own mental health. She dabbed at her eyes. Marcus Webb spoke up. Doesn't he work for the company? My mother laughed. Daniel, minor paperwork. Filing. She gestured toward Jessica. This one is the real business mind in the family. I had heard enough. I walked in like I belonged there, because I did. The foyer was full of clients, partners, industry contacts, faces I recognized, people who knew my signature but not my face. Conversations dropped as I passed. Board meeting suit, charcoal, tailored, no apology. My mother saw me first. The color drained from her face, her champagne glass tilted, nearly spilling. Daniel, strangled. What are you doing here? I'm not contacting you, Mom. Calm. I'm just here for the birthday party. Jessica shoved through the crowd. Your birthday isn't for another month. No, Jessica. I let it land slowly. My birthday is today, March 15th. Yours is April 20th. Silence. Then whispers. You can't just show up here. I said we need space. And I've given you space. No calls, no texts. I looked around the room. But this is my professional network. I thought I'd say hello. Marcus Webb stepped forward. Wait, your son is our CFO? He turned to my mother, voice sharp. You just told me he does minor paperwork. Daniel has signed every contract between our companies for 10 years. He personally rescued our Riverside development deal. Gasps. David Chen from the investment firm stared at my mother. Patricia, you've been telling us your son isn't involved in the business. He manages the money, Jessica cut in. That's not the same as, that's literally the job. Marcus didn't blink. Harold Weston stepped away from the bar. If I may. Every head turned. As legal counsel for Nolan Properties, Daniel Nolan holds 60% of company shares. He is the majority owner with sole signing authority on all major financial instruments, including the family trust. Absolute silence. My mother's face had gone gray. It's public record, Patricia, Harold said quietly. You would know this if you'd read the corporate documents. Jessica grabbed her arm. What does sole signing authority mean? I looked at my sister, at my mother, at every person who now understood exactly who I was. It means nothing happens without me. The room erupted. Daniel! My mother's voice dropped to something soft and pleading. Sweetheart, this is all a misunderstanding. Your message was very clear. You said you needed space. You said don't reach out. I didn't mean, and Jessica hearted it. My sister flinched. Mom tried tears. It's been so stressful. We weren't thinking clearly. You were thinking clearly enough to throw Jessica a birthday party 5 weeks early. I gestured at the decorations. On my actual birthday, a gasp from the back. The caterers made a scheduling mistake. The banner says, Happy Birthday, Jessica. The cake says Jessica. Even. Steady. This wasn't a mistake. Marcus cleared his throat. I should go. Daniel, I'll call your office tomorrow. Others followed. The party emptied. I watched my mother's world crumble. Then I turned for the door. Daniel, wait. She grabbed my arm. You can't just leave. I removed her hand from my sleeve. You asked for space, I said quietly. I'm giving you exactly what you asked for. I drove home in silence. No music, just the engine and the city lights. Not triumphant, not vengeful, just tired and strangely at peace. I called the bank, exercised the trust freeze clause, emailed Harold, audit all distributions, review all access, prepare restructuring documents, nothing illegal, just boundaries, ones I should have drawn years ago. Then I blocked both of them. They had asked me not to contact them. I was making it permanent. I lay down in the quiet and thought about my father's words. Walking away isn't betrayal, it's survival. I wasn't walking away from my family. I was walking away from a version of myself that had let people treat me like an ATM with a heartbeat. That night, for the first time in 10 years, I slept until morning. I woke at 7 to sunlight. No anxiety, no dread, just stillness. Then I unblocked the numbers. 99 missed calls, 47 voicemails, 8:47 p.m. Mom, this is ridiculous. Call me back immediately. 10:15 p.m. Jessica, the credit card isn't working. What did you do? 11:30 p.m. Mom, whatever point you're making, you've made it. Fix this. 2 else a.m. Jessica crying, please, please call us back. 6:15 a.m. Mom, voice cracking. The bank says the trust is frozen. Please, sweetheart, please. I set the phone down. The emails were more of the same. Jessica, all caps, you can't do this. This is family money. My mother, longer, switching between accusation and plea. I don't understand why you're punishing us. We love you. Please just call. Then, at the bottom, a different name. Marcus Webb. Daniel, I didn't know your family situation, and it's not my business. But my trust is with you, not them. Let's talk this week. You have my full support. I read it twice. Then I closed the laptop, made coffee, and watched the morning light move across my apartment. They would survive. They'd just have to do it without me. The next few days brought the reality home. Harold called with updates. The trust freeze had stopped everything. The mansion landlord received a declined payment, called my mother directly. She blamed a bank error. 30 days notice issued. Jessica's card declined at the spa, the restaurant, the gas station. Her car lease bounced. They're realizing, Harold said, that everything they have flows through your signature. No satisfaction, just a hollow calm. What about the business partners? Marcus Webb called. Wants to strengthen the partnership. Says he's more confident now that he knows who's actually running things. The Hartley sisters sent flowers to your office. They want a meeting, interested in expanding their investment. My mother had spent years telling everyone I was nothing. In one evening, the truth had taken it all apart. Harold, I don't want to destroy them. I just want to stop being used. I know, Gentle. Your father knew that too. That's why he built things this way. Let me draw up something fair. Fair, that was all I'd ever wanted. My mother showed up at my office 4 days after the party. My assistant buzzed me. There's a woman in reception. She says she's your mother. She's upset. I found her at the front desk, makeup smudged, designer blouse wrinkled like she'd slept in it. She turned and saw me, face crumpling with something like hope. Daniel, thank God. We need to talk. Not here. This is my workplace. Then come home. We're family. You told me not to contact you. I didn't mean it. Her voice rose. Heads turned. We were just stressed. Jessica was pressuring me. Jessica pressured you to forget my birthday? To throw her a party on my birthday? To tell everyone I do minor paperwork? Silence. If you want to talk, make an appointment, like anyone else. I'm your mother. I looked at her. Really looked. 10 years ago, I would have rushed to fix it, would have apologized, would have made the tears stop at any cost. Not anymore. I know you are. But I'm also a person, and people deserve basic respect. I walked back to my office. She didn't follow. Jessica's world unraveled faster. Her European vacation was canceled. Card declined at the travel agency. Her boyfriend Tyler packed his bags the moment the credit stopped. I thought you had family money, he said on his way out. This isn't what I signed up for. Her LinkedIn message arrived a week later. Daniel, I know we haven't always been close, but I'm struggling. I didn't know you were so important to the company. Can we please talk? I'm sorry for everything. I just need help. I read it 3 times. I didn't know you were so important. Not, I'm sorry for hurting you. Not, I'm sorry for treating you like you didn't matter. Just, I didn't know you were important. She still didn't understand. She wasn't sorry for the years of dismissal, the cruel comments, the hearted text. She was sorry because the money stopped. I typed a reply, deleted it, finally wrote, when you're ready to talk about our relationship, not about money, let me know. I didn't hear back. My sister didn't miss me. She missed my wallet. That hurt more than anything. 2 weeks after my birthday, I sent a letter. Harold delivered it personally. Dear Mom and Jessica, I'm not cutting you off, but I'm not continuing a relationship that only works when I give and you take. If you want to be in my life, I'm open to that. But it has to be built on respect, not on what I can provide. Effective immediately, the family trust will be restructured. Mom receives $3,000 a month. Jessica, $1,500, enough to live, not lavishly. It comes whether we speak or not, non-negotiable. Jessica, you're 29, time to build your own career. Mom, the allowance covers a modest apartment. The mansion lease will not be renewed. I've spent 10 years giving everything I had to people who never once asked how I was doing. That ends now.